Hello everyone, welcome to Game 2 between Woobowiz and DeadZone. This time we're going to be on Metalopolis for the semifinal game. Overlord Scout's going to be deployed to the close air positions, but as we see, Woobowiz in the north and DeadZone in the west. The Overlords will be kind of coming up empty on their search, although, to be completely fair, the second one will get there, unless they both decide to scout the diagonal positions. Apparently, Woobowiz or DeadZone forgetting that his opponent is Zerg, and that's not that big of a deal, as he will find out quite shortly. Extractor trick for DeadZone, it looks like, and Woobowiz is not going to say, "Until you scout me." Sad faces all around, same builds, except for looks like Woobowiz went 9 Overlord, which is the best. So we'll see that DeadZone is behind just a little bit, although far be it from me to say this, but there's not that huge of a difference. So every time I preach about it, it's not like it's the game changer I make it out to be. It's just a slightly different taste. If you want those extra 15 minerals or so, then you can go ahead and do that. Just like the mining trick that got patched in 1.12. And that is where you can just hit C after 3 swipes with a drone, probe, or SCV's claws, ray, and mining drill, respectively. It gets rid of this little lag. You see how there's the drone and he stops? Well, let's go with this one. He'll go 1, 2, 3, and then he'll stop. If you hit C right when he stops, he'll go back and you save about, some percentage of mining time. And it equates very nicely. You get a lot more minerals that way, and if you have the APM to keep up with it, then by all means. Unfortunately, Blizzard saw that as a bug rather than an interesting little skill cap, like stacking lurkers in StarCraft 1 and stuff like that. But it looks like they don't want that to be in there. Although you can still stack mutas, but there's no real benefit for doing so, other than against Thors if you're Terran. So we do have speed coming on the way. It looks like DeadZone going to be doing the same exact build. It looks like we're seeing a more standard play from Woobowiz. You'll see that in the units tab, Woobowiz is actually behind, and that's because he built far too many Zerglings. Looks like he's going to go pressure with them once he finds out where his opponent is, and I think that he will shortly see that he is not bottom right. Because there is no bottom right, it would just be bottom or left. And unfortunately, Zergs can't lift to the middle, so DeadZone able to stop this initial Zergling rush, but 4 more are on the way, 2 more for defense from Woobowiz, and we do see a Roach Horn. So again, Woobowiz not willing to go into the standard play of the time, and that was Ling Baneling. And some chatter keeps going off. Woobowiz forgetting to either put down a creep tumor or inject. We see that the Queen does have a little excess energy, which probably will build up over the course of the game for most Zerg players. Of course, Idra is not most Zerg players. He is kind of gross. A Roach Horn up, and we do see that a few should be on the way. 1, in fact, is on the way. But it looks like Woobowiz is content to drone a little bit harder than normal. This one Roach will absorb a ton of Baneling hits, should DeadZone choose to go in that way, and it looks like he will. Time will tell what we are going to see in this game. It looks like there's going to be a little skirmish between... No? This could be bad for Woobowiz, actually. The number of Zerglings up here can easily take care of the Spinecrawler, but looks like Woobowiz going to see the number of Zerglings up here, and I believe that this Overlord spotted these 4 Zerglings, and they're going to be beating a hasty retreat, but now the number of Roaches that Woobowiz has is fairly substantial. We do see some Spore Crawlers. Looks like he doesn't want to get taken out by mutas. I'm not sure where this came from. It wasn't from scouting, that's for sure. Spore Crawlers are pretty much useless against ground armies, unless they're burrowed Roaches, in which case they're great for detecting them. Well, Pooh, you're probably taking the mutas. Scout and find out, Woobowiz. You would have a much better time and could save 2 drones and 50 minerals. Instead, we do see a large amount of banelings. And I think this might have been head games by Woobowiz, even after blowing a couple of drones on these spore crawlers. Or Hydras. Why would you go Hydras? Hydras are the last like Zerg unit that you'd see in any matchup, really. And I'm not sure what love they shared, as they are playing for eternal glory in the Flatline tournament. We have banelings going up. These roaches, actually, once they group up, will get hurt. A few of them in the red, a few of them in the orange, and roaches, I guess, for the win. And we'll see what DeadZone's going to be doing. He does not have much going on. He doesn't have an expansion. He has now finally started his lair. And we do see that he is vastly under supply after losing that large amount of banelings. And he's just not capitalizing on the amount of damage he actually did to these roaches, which is just too bad. It looks like, as we select the Mech statue, we do have an expansion going down, probably for both players, but it's a little faster for Woobowiz. He is also ahead in the tech count, having both roaches, which take on the tech that the DeadZone has, as well as now his lair is up. So he already is on his second gas, so he could be going mutas himself once he gets that 200 gas and 200 minerals. We shall see. The Zerglings are still hanging out and actually could do a fair amount of damage, devote some time to moving these roaches outside the base, and we'll see that a Hydra den is down, which is the exact antithesis of what you want to do, but because the roaches are out and in numbers, he can get away with it. Banelings will blow up Hydras quite extensively. We do have a DeadZone gold expansion about halfway done, and apparently there's a little bit of a scuffle. He doesn't know a lot of things, apparently, that Woobowiz, but still a substantial Zergling army with a couple of banelings ready to blow up. The pink is rubbing on you. Forever alone, you'll be rubbing on yourself, Woobowiz, I bet. Because you do play StarCraft, and you are in the semifinals of the first Flatline tournament, and I don't know what that says about you, but now, Roach Zergling, and maybe that's just to burn off some excess minerals he had, but I would just go ahead and throw down your expansion again, which was cancelled or harassed. I'm not sure, because I have been away from the game for a fair amount, and it's tough to get back into the range of observing effectively. But some drones do transfer for DeadZone, and an increase in the amount of money that DeadZone has will be apparent. No baneling speed for these banelings, and that's just too bad. The Zerglings kiss here and there, and we still have a primarily Roachling combination here. The Hydra Den, which have range. The Hydras do have range. It looks like this Zergling being sent in to discover what his opponent is doing, and right now looks like Hydras for DeadZone as well, which actually will work well, as there are no banelings, and the roaches do fall fairly fast, even to these glass cannon, we'll call them that, Hydras. And he's trying to get to these banelings in the back here, trying to send them in to blow them off, and blow them up. Not a lot of blowing off going on in this game. Blowing up is more apropos. We do have Hydras for both sides, and I believe that army-wise, Woobowiz has it just purely because of the amount of roaches, and now the addition of Hydras. So this is very fragile, but if he had speed, he might be able to get the back line of the Hydras. You mess with the Reaper. So apparently DeadZone does not know that he is behind. I would love to see Woobowiz doesn't know he's behind. I'd love to see DeadZone take these gas really quickly, so he can continue production of either the Hydras or get out more banelings as needed. So Woobowiz finally gonna be making his expansion yet again. We'll see exactly what goes on now, but Woobowiz, he's falling a little bit behind. These roaches need to be kind of forming a little bowl around the Hydras to protect them, because they do a fair amount of damage, and they also have upgrades, which is huge. I did not notice that the first time through. We do see that DeadZone is researching Burrow. Interesting if he's going to set some baneling mines here and there and everywhere. In fact, I don't know where those banelings went. They're back in the base. We also have an Evo chamber. It looks like there they are. Looks like he knows he's behind on upgrades. They're talking about the forums now. So a lot of action in this mid-game Z battle. No one has made the jump to tier 3, which is very, very intensive on the monies. It looks like DeadZone getting one of these extractors down, and nothing going on the actual usage of it, but hopefully he'll remember to do so. I'd love to see a queen out there. I would love to see him expand, as he does have the time and the money to do so. He is fully saturated up here. No, he's not. Not at all. Woobowiz is fully saturated up here. Close enough. And he's getting there over here. We do see that in production, Woobowiz has a ton more things, although not sure how that's going to be received. If these Zerglings go around the gold, they will find an very, very open and inviting place. But it looks like they check that, and they are going to be coming in to harass these drones, and that's bad news for DeadZone. Taking that risky expansion, he was bound to get found out sooner or later, and Woobowiz not taking any time to shoot off his mouth, but that's okay. He does have a fairly large army, a very well balanced army. It looks like these are primarily Hydras. By primarily, I mean exactly Hydras. There are some Banelings around, and there are some Zerglings chasing around other Zerglings, but as soon as these Zerglings hit this wall, he could be in for some trouble. Looks like they grouped up and are going to be just kind of testing the waters to see what he has, pulling away some Zerglings, gives him free kills, and that is exceedingly good. And looks like Woobowiz just going to send those out and see what's going on. The gold does survive, and it looks like they're going to be fighting over that for a little bit, and the Hydras are still home, the Banelings are still home. These Zerglings are going to be fighting. Unfortunately, these guys aren't going to be doing much of anything at all. Let's see if these were set to auto-explode, or if he's waiting for the Hydras. If the Hydras come in here, and... oh, you blew your load too soon there, DeadZone. But the amount of Hydras and Roaches that Woobowiz has quickly overpowered the ones that DeadZone has, as Woobowiz is also taking out the expansion. So expired play by Woobowiz, as I believe... no, I'm pretty sure that DeadZone does win this, but loses his expansion in the process. Loses expansion that just popped as well, so DeadZone's in the hole. Woobowiz still rolling with some Zerglings over here, and has made a significant army back at his base. I say significant because he's also getting more upgrades, which is exceedingly powerful. And he's already 2-1, and a counterattack by DeadZone gets absolutely repelled. These Hydras thinking better of it. Of course, they probably have a fair amount of kills on them. No, not really. But he calls it. He knows that there's not much he can do. He's a little bit low on minerals and lost his expansion down here at the gold. So the advantage that he had going in with that faster and more rich expansion got taken out by just pure Zerglings. So if you're going to take a risky expansion, be prepared to either give it up or defend it well. And I think, actually, he could have just burrowed the drones instead of losing them. But that's neither here nor there. We're on to Game 3. It's 1-1. DeadZone tied with Woobowiz.